The hardest part of building long-lasting habits is consistent, to do it regularly. When you just start any new habit or anything new in general, you have a lot of motivation, you have a lot of excitement, high levels of energy and enthusiasm. You can muster up to do almost anything. But the question is, how long are you going to able to sustain like this? It's easy to get more work done when you feel motivated, when you feel good, when everything goes well. It's easy to get shit done when you feel awesome about yourself, right? But I don't think you could feel good all the times. Maybe 50% at most. You may feel good today, but it doesn't guarantee that when you wake up tomorrow, you also feel good. Even though I'm a positive guy and I consume a lot of great positive contents, but there's so many times in each month, in each week, that when I wake up, I don't feel like to do anything. That's why it's good to be conscious of this, to know that we don't feel good 100% of the time. If you're lucky, maybe you feel good like 50% of the times. And the other 50% of the time, you just have to discipline yourself to do the work that needs to get done even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't feel good. And that's why it's so important to focus on the completion than the intensity of an action. It's better to take action towards your goal than doing nothing at all. It's better to be consistent than to be inconsistently perfect. The key is to do something rather than nothing at all. A completion is better than nothing at all. We often fall into a trap of starting something way too much at the beginning and expect that it will be like this forever. And guess what? After some time pass by, your motivation, your energy is going down, going low. Then you start slowly reduce to take action. You slowly stop taking action towards your goals, towards new habits. Because when you don't feel good, you think about that the amount of work that you have to put in to finish a task. Then you lose motivation and you don't feel like, because it's too much work, and on top of that, it becomes boring over time. Then you will stop taking action. At the beginning, we don't put too much emphasis on how good or excellent you complete a task. The key point is just as long as you get it done, that all it matters at the beginning. That's the key point that I want to say at the beginning. I'm not saying that after a long period of time and you're doing the same thing. No, the point I want to say at the beginning, focus on establish a new identity than to focus on perfectionism. It's better to go to the gym for only 5 minutes than not going at all. Personally, I know a person that I advise to just work out 10 minutes each day. But he told me that no, his goal is to work out like 1 hour each day. Okay, for 5 times a week. Awesome. Guess what? First week, he did great. Second week, maybe he did okay. And guess what? After the third week, he quit it. Every time when he's thinking about going to the gym, he have to thinking about 1 hour long workout. Like I said, when he felt good, it's totally fine to finish in an hour or maybe even longer. But like I said, life is not always perfect and it's not always sunshine and roses. There's so many days that we don't feel good, and in those bad days, it's hard to muster up the effort to actually finish a workout in an hour, for him particularly. So that's why I advised him to work out only 10 minutes, to focus on the completion, to focus on establishing that a new identity that, hey, I am a gym rat, I am a workout person, I am a healthy person. That is more important than to focus on how much work, the amount of effort that you put in the workout. It's better to read 5 minutes than to read nothing at all. It's better to read like 5 minutes consistently daily than to read like 30 minutes per month. Remember, the point is to establish your new identity. You are a reader. You are a book reader. That's the goal. And your brain doesn't really recognize the difference between 5 minutes doing it or 30 minutes doing it. When you do it consistently enough every single day, you will establish that new identity. And once you have that new identity, you can start increase the amount of time to read. So that's the whole point, to focus on consistent, and especially start small at the beginning. Because when it's so small that it feels so silly that if you don't do it, like anyone can read 5 minutes, anyone can work out for 5 minutes, right? And that's the whole point, because it's so small that it feels almost like impossible not to do it. You may rationalize that, well, 5 minutes won't make any difference, why even bother? And yes, you're right, it won't make any difference in a day or two, but with a long enough time, you will compound and make a huge difference. And on top of that, like I said, the goal is not to be perfect, but to establish your new identity. You are the type of person doing this. It doesn't matter how well or how long you do it. That's for another day. Today is for you to just finish a task, to do something. That's it. Doesn't have to be big. And in fact, just focus on a small thing. Just focus on a small action, but consistent. So often, we focus too much on perfection and that big win, and we neglect the power of compounding and the point of building a habit. Building a habit is not a one-time thing. It will be your new identity. That's why it's so important that you start small and establish incremental progress over time. That's why even when you don't feel good, even when you experience bad days, you can still take action towards establishing new habits. That's the whole point, to be consistent. And in order to be consistent, it's important that to focus on the small action, because that way it's almost like guarantee that you will take action no matter what. It's better to do something than nothing at all. And the point when I saying this, so that you can remove any excuse that come your way, because it's so small that it's almost like, what excuse do you have? And that's the goal, to remove all the excuses that you have. I don't want you to get too excited to start this year with a crazy goal each day, and then a month later, it becomes a burden or a chore. I myself personally, I have fallen into this trap so many times, and I'm sure I may fall into this trap again. But now I have the awareness. So it's important that I remind myself each day that, hey, focus on consistent action. It's better to focus on consistent than focus on doing too much but inconsistent. So to wrap up, whatever new habits that you want to develop this year, make sure that you focus on doing regularly and consistently. At the beginning, don't put too much emphasis on how well you do it or how much you do it. Even one action is better than nothing at all. The goal is to establish a new identity. The key is to be consistent. It's better to be consistently imperfect than to be inconsistently perfect. It's better to exercise daily for 5 minutes than to exercise 1 hour out of the blue within a month. You get my point. To be consistent and to do something towards that new habit. Don't put too much pressure on yourself at the beginning. Just focus on small action that it feels so silly if you don't take action. It's like right now, this new year for me is to become a reader. So for me to become a reader, I only focus on 5 or 10 minutes each day. I don't put too much on 30 minutes or an hour each day anymore. I used to do so. And at the beginning, like I said, it's easy for me to do 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour reading. But it didn't last long. It didn't last for a week. It only lasted for a few days. So it's so important to focus on taking small, consistent, daily action, then inconsistent action. It's better to take one action than nothing at all. It's better to do less than you hope than to do nothing at all. The point is to take action towards your goal frequently, even if it is small. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that whatever new habits you want to develop, focus on being consistent. And as always, remember, the only way that you can reach your goals is to take action. Without action, nothing will happen. I hope you carry that mindset with you all the time. No matter how much you consume new knowledge, make sure always take action. And until next time, I believe in you. Let's crush this new year together. Thank you.